Hello everyone, this is Gary from Fantastic Fantas and we are into lecture 16, Governor Generals. Now, before I proceed, I'll just quickly remind you, if you have not seen the earlier lecture, please go through this lecture. Above here you can see the lecture, but make sure your annotations are on whenever you see my lectures. Now we'll quickly move to lecture 16, and this we'll be basically talking about Canning only. I'll try to be very fast on this because now Canning took one complete lecture and he's very important for our paper. Right, now moving ahead, this is Lord Canning and he was there from 1856 to 1862. We have been talking about him in last 3-4 lectures because the revolt of 1857 occurred under him, and so many other changes happened under him. For example, Government of India Act 1858, then India Consuls Act 1861 was there. So we will be talking about all those. Now, few things we have already done. The revolt of 1857, we have already done this. If your annotations are on, you can see the link here. You click on this link, it will open in a new window. You can see that lecture. Then we have done, that is lecture 14. Then Indian Civil Services Act, it came in 1861. India High Court Act, it came in 61. Both these lectures were part of lecture 15 and we are already done with those, right? Now we'll move ahead. In this, after the revolt of 1857 came the Queen Victoria's proclamation. This is the photo of the original proclamation. Now this was obviously this was issued at Allahabad, right? And this was in 1858. We'll talk about these. This was a proclamation to the by the Queen in Council to the Prince Chiefs and people of India, right? So we'll move ahead. Queen Victoria's proclamation. What happened? Grand Darbar was held in Allahabad, and this proclamation was basically about how the British are going to deal in India in the coming times, right? And everything about their policy and all. Now, the Queen basically became the head of the government here, and the government of India, which was before this, was run by East India Company. Now it will be the head of which was East India Company. The Queen would be the head of it. Now I went through the charter and I came across few important lines from the charter. I have quoted those lines. I thought it will be better if directly lines are quoted from the charter rather than making our own conclusions out of it, right? If you can remember, it will be very good if you can quote unquote in the paper in mains exam. Otherwise, if you can remember it, otherwise also that will be fine, right? Now, first they said that we are not going to have any more expansion, right? We remember before the Dalhousie, how he was expanding so widely. Before him there was Dalhousie, before Canning came, and before all that, how Britishers were expanding all the areas they were occupying in India. So they said no extension of our present territorial possessions. जितना है हमारे पास हम इतना ही लेकर रहेंगे. Whatever we have, we are content with it. Second, now this is they try to divide India. What are they saying? They saying we respect you the native princes of जो आप भी यहाँ के रहने वाले local राजा महाराजा लोग हो. We respect your rights, dignity and honor. उनको ये कहना इन्होंने शुरू कर दिया. ठीक है जी, rights, dignity and honor of native princes as our own. और अगली बात जो आती है, it is such an important thing and ये this is of consequence for us. This is important for paper also, and that is, I'll just read it quote unquote. It says, and it is for our further will that so far as may be our subjects of whatever race or creed be freely and impartially admitted to office in our services. This means that Indians in civil services. Right. This is very important. Now further, and then they say कि ठीक है, if any one of you committed any crime before this, like for example the revolt of 1857, if you were not directly involved in killing someone, fine, आपको माफ कर दिया जाएगा, will forgive you, right? General clemency was issued, right, at the time of Canning. So except those who have been or shall be convicted of having directly taken part in killing the British subject. किसने directly part लिया है तो उसको तो वो सजा देंगे, he will be murdered, right? Now lastly, we hereby announce that to all the native princes in India that all treaties and engagements with them by or under the authority of East India Company are by us accepted and will be scrupulously maintained. इसका मतलब क्या है कि before this whatever treaty, कोई भी समझौता and engagement जो भी किया किसने, प्रिंसेस ने किया विद हुम, ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी, वो एज इट इज कंटिन्यू होंगे, बाकी जो मर्जी चलता रहे। ठीक है जी। फिर क्या होता है इस प्रोक्लामेशन के अंदर, कुछ और भी बातें आती हैं जो कि मैंने इस तरीके से इनडायरेक्ट वे में लिखी हैं। दैट इज वो क्या है, एक तो वो कह रहे अब आपके इंडिया में हम रूल कैसे करेंगे, जस्टिस के साथ, हमको जस्टिस डिलीवर करेंगे, आप घबराइए मत, डोंट वरी, विल गिव यू जस्टिस, विल प्रीच रिलीजियस टॉलरेंस। सी दिस इज द actually they are wearing under the garb of religious tolerance, they would try to divide India into Hindus and Muslims. ठीक है ना, they how they would define, they would say that they are incompatible gods and what not, जिस तरीके से वो डिफाइन करेंगे हिंदूज मुस्लिम्स, तो वो डिवीजन भी काफी ही खतरनाक रहती है इस टाइम पे। फिर ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी की जो आर्मी है, इट वोंट एग्जिस्ट इंडिया में इस टाइम पे। देयर वर two armies in India at this time. One was of East India Company and one was of British. Now this East India Company army will not exist any longer. There will be just one army and that is a British army which will work under Crown. Up because of this only there would be white mutiny. अब अंग्रेज गुस्सा खा जाएंगे इस चीज को लेके, कोई प्रॉब्लम हो जाती हैं जो बाद में जाके सॉल्व कर दी जाती हैं। आई टॉक अबाउट इट एट द ऑलमोस्ट द एंड ऑफ द लेक्चर। फिर और क्या हुआ प्रोक्लामेशन के अंदर, जो सिपाहीज थे हमारे अपने लोकल जहां थे उनको आर्मी में रख लिया गया। दे वर एम्प्लॉयड रिक्रूटेड इन द ब्रिटिश आर्मी, ऑब्वियसली दे वुड बी रिक्रूटेड। अब इसकी नेचुरल करोलरी तो यही होगी ना। एंड बट मोर इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज सो दिस वे इंडियंस got to participate in the world war in the next century. अब मैं got to participate का मतलब ये नहीं कि हम वेट कर रहे थे उसमें पार्टिसिपेट करने के लिए। I just want to convey that we were not just, it's not about that we were waiting that one day world war will happen and we will fight the war. The point is that we, because of this incidents we took part in the Indian army, was Indians were involved in the world war and this is important because of 1914 में हुई थी वर्ल्ड वॉर, अब 2015 आ गया तो 100 साल पूरे हो चुके हैं, तो वो भी इशू इसलिए इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है। खैर, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट की बात करेंगे तो एक तो प्रोक्लामेशन आया, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट आया, इसके बारे में क्या हुआ। तो व्हाट हैपेंड, दिस इज गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट। बिफोर एक्ट देयर इज ऑलवेज अ बिल, राइट। पॉलिटी में विल स्टडी बिल, बिल होता है और बिल से एक्ट बनता है। बिल वो होता है जो पार्लियामेंट के अंदर पार्लियामेंटेरियन अनाउंस करते हैं, अगर बिल पास होता है तो वो एक्ट बन जाता है। बिल इज पास इट बिकम्स एन एक्ट। इन पार्लियामेंट ऑलवेज द बिल इज इंट्रोड्यूस, यू नेवर इंट्रोड्यूस एन एक्ट, मेक श्योर यू डू नॉट मिसयूज सच वर्ड्स। नाउ व्हाट हैपेंड दैट इन ब्रिटेन, उनका एक प्राइम मिनिस्टर था हुज नेम वाज पाल्मरस्टोन। पाल्मरस्टोन, व्हाट ही डिड, he introduced the bill in 1858 but it could not pass because he had to resign over there owing to some different reason about which we are not concerned. Then another bill was introduced by Lord Stanley. This is important name for us, this is what I am more concerned with, Lord Stanley. Now is this original name of the bill, it's a very long name, I just given you the opening line, an act for better government in India. It's a huge name and this act was passed in Government of India Act 1858, right? Now what happened, what did it say, it said that ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी वुड बी लिक्विडिफाइड, राइट, लिक्विफाइड हो जाएगी सारी। फिर इंडिया वॉज टू बी डायरेक्टली गवर्न्ड इन द नेम ऑफ द क्राउन। बेसिकली क्या हो गया कि इन दोनों से मतलब क्या निकल रहा है कि अब कंपनी की जो ओनरशिप है वो सारी की सारी क्राउन के पास चली गई है, ठीक है ना, ये क्राउन के पास चली गई है। और गवर्न कौन कर रहा है, क्राउन ही गवर्न कर रहा है इंडिया का। अगर क्राउन गवर्न कर रहा है तो उस टाइम पे फिर दो चीज एग्जिस्ट करती थी, इफ यू रिमेंबर, एक था बोर्ड ऑफ कंट्रोल, राइट, बोर्ड ऑफ कंट्रोल, दूसरा है कोर्ट ऑफ डायरेक्टर। तो अब क्या हुआ, जो बोर्ड ऑफ कंट्रोल था ये भी खत्म हो जाएगा और कोर्ट ऑफ डायरेक्टर भी खत्म हो जाएंगे, ठीक है जी, क्योंकि अब तो सीधा ही कंट्रोल ही सिर्फ क्राउन का हो गया, तो दोनों खत्म। तो क्राउन वॉज टू गवर्न, अभी फिर गवर्न कैसे करेंगे इंडिया को, अगर ये दोनों खत्म हो गए, वी विल बी गवर्नड थ्रू द सेक्रेटरी ऑफ द स्टेट, ठीक है जी, सेक्रेटरी ऑफ द स्टेट हमें गवर्न करेगा। इसके पास पावर किसकी होगी, बोर्ड ऑफ कंट्रोल की पावर भी होगी और इसके पास कोर्ट ऑफ डायरेक्टर की पावर भी होगी। सेक्रेटरी वुड हैव द पावर बोर्ड ऑफ कंट्रोल एंड कोर्ट ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स एज वेल, राइट। नाउ बिकॉज ही इज द सेक्रेटरी, नाउ इन इंडिया व्हाट वर वी ऑलरेडी हैविंग, वी वर हैविंग गवर्नर जनरल and who were earlier appointing governor general, these people, board of control and quota director, they had their own say directly indirectly in appointing the governor general and of India. Now what happened, governor general would be appointed by the secretary of the state and governors of presidencies also. For example, if you remember, we talked about Halliday, that Frederick Halliday, right, who became the governor of Bengal. That power came with the 1853 का जो, sorry, not this, this is, let's write it better, right. In fact 1853 का जो एक्ट था उसके अंदर ये बात आई थी कि पावर की बात आई थी कि लोकल लेवल पर भी गवर्नर, लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर जो था अपॉइंट किया जा सकता था, उसकी बात कर चुके हैं हम. What more was said in Government of India Act 1858? Last instructions were issued to the East India Company servants. Now this is not important for paper as at this point, but this is just for making history interesting. So what was said? I'll just quote unquote it. Let Her Majesty have the vast country, but let her not forget the great corporation from which she has received them, nor the lessons to be learned from its success. ठीक है जी, एक तरीके से वो बस दुख तो था ही, कंपनी चली गई. They were not happy with this, that company had been overtaken, but they had no choice. Now let's talk about the Secretary of India, the first Secretary of India, Lord Stanley, who was before this a board of control, became the secretary, right. It was Lord Stanley who proposed the Government of India Act 1858. And he was the secretary president of board of control, and he became the first secretary of India. Secretary, I have already shared with you who he was, how he was the president, head, whatever of the India, right. Now one interesting fact is that after Government of India Act 1935, अभी जैसे 1858 चल रहा है, later on we will study Government of India Act 1935 also. This is the last one you will be studying. So now Government of India Act 1935, it provided for New Burma office. Basically what Britishers were doing, India was partitioned and one side was India and other side was Burma, right. They wanted to separate Burma and make it a separate colony. Now it was made a separate colony, but the Governor General remained same for both of them, right. Governor General served this also and this also, right. Now what was his post? Post was known as the Secretary of State for India and Burma, and who was the first in this case? It was Lord Dunda. Lord Dunda, ठीक है जी. And this office ended with independence of India, of course, and then he turns into just the Governor General of Burma, and Burma got independence in 1848, and that's it, and they got free, right. Now we'll talk more about the secretary. Now he was aided by his own, he had his own council which would help him in his work, and because just like in India the members of parliament are responsible to the Lok Sabha, same way in British also, the British parliament, the cabinet members of the ministers, they were responsible to the British parliament. Now secretary was the person through whom communication was done, right. Communication word here is important. He was responsible there to British parliament. Now there was provision for creation of Indian civil service under control of Secretary of the State. He had this power. Then there's nothing more information about it. Now he was empowered to send secret dispatches also to India without consulting his consul. ठीक है जी, इतना ही था secretary का, nothing much in that. I just read it out, that is why, nothing to understand in that. Then we move to centralization of administration, right. What is happening, that what do you mean by centralization of administration? पूरी administration जो थी उसका सेंट्रलाइजेशन, मतलब सब कुछ जो सेंटर का है हमारा इंग्लैंड के अंदर, उनके पास सारी पावर इकट्ठी होती जा रही है, और इंग्लैंड का सेंटर हमारे यहाँ पर कैसे है, सेक्रेटरी के थ्रू है या फिर क्राउन के थ्रू है जो इंग्लैंड में बैठा है, तो इनके हाथ में सारी पावर जाती जा रही है. अब बात करेंगे गवर्नर जनरल और वाइस रॉय की. गवर्नर जनरल तो ऐसे एज इट इज चल रहा था, लेकिन अब उसका नाम हो गया है वाइस रॉय एंड गवर्नर जनरल ऑफ इंडिया. ठीक है जी. Now this post of Viceroy 1858 से 1947 तक ये पोस्ट चलेगी, राइट. वाइसरॉय और द क्राउन पर्सनल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव, एंड विद पैसेज ऑफ टाइम गवर्नर जनरल की जो पावर थी वो कम होती गई. गवर्नर जनरल पावर वाज रिड्यूस्ड एंड सेक्रेटरीज पावर केप्ट ऑन इंक्रीजिंग. Obviously secretary is the new head of the country, his power will increase. So now governor general, he had he would have his own executive council, right. secretary की अपनी council होती थी, governor general की अपनी council होती थी, और जिसके members obviously को help करते थे पूरा काम करने में. सारे मैटर्स यहाँ डिस्कस होते थे, ऑल द मैटर वर डिस्कस्ड एंड वोटेड फॉर मेजॉरिटी, बट दीज पीपल गवर्नर जनरल और वाइसराय दे बोथ हैड द वीटो पावर. Now this is just a repetition of the fact I've already stated. Governor General and Viceroy of India post from 1858 to 1947, it continues, and Governor General of India post continues from 1947 to 1950. This is Mountbatten, right, and C. Rajagopalachari, and after that this post ceases, and we have the president, and first President Rajendra Prasad, and to the President of India, Shri Pranab Mukherjee, and as the future presidents come, as them whatever will happen. Now इंडियन काउंसिल्स एक्ट के इस टाइम पे इंडियन काउंसिल्स एक्ट भी आया, तो काउंसिल्स को गवर्न करने के लिए जिनकी काउंसिल्स हैं, गवर्नर जनरल काउंसिल इन इंडिया वाज डूइंग लेजिस्लेटिव एंड एग्जीक्यूटिव फंक्शन. फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम जो डिवीजन हुई थी लेजिस्लेटिव और एग्जीक्यूटिव पर्पस के लिए वो 1833 एक्ट से हुई थी. ठीक है जी. एक मेरे से एक जगह मैंने आपको ये बात, जब मैं आपको 1853 का चार्टर करवा रहा था, आई हैव मेंशन्ड देयर that this was in 1853 की सबसे पहले the first division that happened was in 1853 act. I earlier mentioned this. I have added an annotation over there also. I am mentioning it again for sake of clarification that this was in 1833, not 1853, that first division was made. And how was that? I'll remind you, if you remember, a fourth member was added to Governor General in Council, and he could participate only in the legislative purposes, right? Now that is where the division started. The legislative power were taken by the Charter Act of 1833. They were taken away by this act, 1830. The Legislative Council at Calcutta was given extensive authority to pass laws for British India as a whole. ठीक है जी. तो they could Legislative Council at Calcutta, उनके पास पावर आ गई पूरे ब्रिटिश इंडिया के लिए, वो यहाँ पर बैठ के लॉ बना सकते हैं, और जो बॉम्बे और मद्रास थी वो भी अपने लेवल तक के लिए लॉ बना सकते हैं. ठीक है जी. गवर्नर जनरल चाहता था लेजिस्लेटिव पर्पस के लिए कंट्री को अलग अलग प्रोविंसेस में बांट सकता था. इतना ही था, कोई खास बातें नहीं है, ये जस्ट ऐसे ही है, नथिंग मच टू, जस्ट सुनिए एक बारी, बहुत है. फिर क्या हुआ, जो वाइस रॉय की एग्जीक्यूटिव काउंसिल थी, अब वो ना कैबिनेट की तरह चलने लग गई थी पोर्टफोलियो सिस्टम के बेसिस पे. एलोकेशन ऑफ डिफरेंट डिपार्टमेंट दिया जाता, कैबिनेट पोर्टफोलियो सिस्टम में सबको अलग अलग दिया जाता था कि किसका कौन सा मिनिस्टर का पोर्टफोलियो है. स्मृति ईरानी के पास जैसे कि अभी 2015 में एचआरडी मिनिस्ट्री है, तो वो पोर्टफोलियो है उसका. ठीक है जी. तो कैबिनेट हैड 6 ऑर्डिनरी मेंबर्स, ठीक है, जो इसके होते थे, जो कि अलग अलग काम करते थे, कैलकाटा गवर्नमेंट की हेल्प करते थे. वो क्या थे? होम डिपार्टमेंट क्या हो सकते हैं, ऐसे होंगे सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट के होम, रेवेन्यू, मिलिट्री, लॉ, फाइनेंस एंड पब्लिक वर्क्स, जो कि बाद में ऐड होता है पब्लिक 1874 में जाके. ठीक है जी. दिस इज नॉट इंडियन काउंसिल एक्ट 1961. आई एम सॉरी, दिस इज 1861. आई डोंट नो इफ आई मेड दिस एरर अर्लियर आल्सो. या दिस इज जस्ट अ टाइपोग्राफिकल एरर, यू कैन इग्नोर इट. दिस इज 1861 ओनली. राइट नाउ the military commander in chief says he would sit in the council as extraordinary member. This is important term, this can be asked in paper, that military commander in chief was sitting as an extraordinary member, right? Obviously, as I said, viceroy could overrule. And when did it happen that viceroy overruled his council on affair? This was in 1879 during the time of Lord Lytton, about which we will be talking in the coming lectures. Lord Lytton की डिटेल भी पढ़ेंगे. This is again 1861. I'm sorry for this error, typographical error. Governor General's Council was expanded. Right now, restructuring of Governor General Council कैसे होती है हम उसके बारे में बात करेंगे. Now he could now nominate 6 to 12 members. ये कैसी बात हुई? लेकिन इसका मतलब है कम से कम 6, ज्यादा से ज्यादा 12, मिनिमम 6, मैक्सिमम 12 members to the Governor General Council. गवर्नर जनरल की काउंसिल के लिए बड़ी मारो मार होगी. गवर्नर जनरल की काउंसिल है ना, तो कितनी देर के लिए होगा? फॉर अ टर्म ऑफ 2 years ऐसा हो रहा था. एटलीस्ट हाफ ऑफ दीज नॉमिनेशंस हैड टू बी नॉन ऑफिशियल्स. ठीक है जी. तो विच कुड बी इंडियन और ब्रिटिश. नॉन ऑफिशियल का मतलब एक तो जो मान लीजिए आपने जो मेंबर्स अपॉइंट किए उसमें कुछ ऑफिशियल्स होंगे जो सरकारी लोग हैं, कुछ नॉन ऑफिशियल होंगे, सरकारी नहीं है, जो विच कुड बी इंडियन और ब्रिटिश. ये गवर्नर जनरल की आगे मर्जी थी. तो इस टाइम पे फिर जो एग्जीक्यूटिव काउंसिल होती है, इट आल्सो केम टू बी नोन एज द इंपीरियल लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल व्हेन इट लेजिस्लेटेड लॉज. नॉर्मली वही चीज इंपीरियल लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल बन जाती थी. एंड दिस वाज, बट इंपीरियल लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल वाज मेरली एन एडवाइजरी बॉडी. सिर्फ सलाह ही देती थी. इट वुड जस्ट गिव सम एडवाइस, अदरवाइज इट डिड नॉट हैव मच वर्क टू डू. And it hardly had any parts. For example, it could not budget discuss नहीं कर सकते थे. They could not discuss budget or financial measures or any other important bill. Nothing could be discussed by them. They could not discuss the action of administration. Now compare this to the today's Anna conflict, right? This which happened a few years back. What happened in this? Police action was discussed in parliament. When Congress government was in power before BJP government came into being in 2014, what happened? Before that, there was some agitation by Anna Hazare. Now that was discussed in the parliament, but at that time the action of administration could not be discussed. So you'll have to understand the historical perspective and the kind of political privileges, let's not call it privilege, the political rights that we have today. ठीक है, the political setup of the country, and this is why we need to study history and then also need to study polity to understand our country better, right? No bill was passed till approved by Governor General and Secretary of the State could disallow any of its acts. ये तो obviously बात है कि सबसे ऊपर बैठे हैं तो इनकी अप्रूवल जरूरी होगा. This you can mark easily in your paper. Let's talk about the role of Indian members in the Legislative Council, right? Now, nominated by Governor General, as I said above, and whom he would nominate? He would generally nominate the people who were favorable to Britishers. And who were these people who were favorable to Britishers? Zamindar, merchant, and some retired officials, because they became non-officials then. Now, but I ask you something: why to include Indians at all? ऐसा क्यों हो गया? क्योंकि दे फेल्ट कि वन ऑफ द रीजंस ऑफ 1857 का रिवोल्ट जो था, दैट इंडियंस व्यूज वर नॉट नोन टू द रूलर्स. उनको लगता था कि कोई इंडियंस की बातें नहीं पता थी, समझ नहीं आ रहा था, इसीलिए 1857 का रिवोल्ट हुआ. अगर हम उनको अच्छे से समझ जाएंगे तो इट विल बी इजियर फॉर अस. तो ऐसे कौन से इंडियंस थे विच वर चोजन? तो इंडियंस वर फर्स्ट एसोसिएटेड विद ब्रिटिश एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. ये कौन थे? महाराजा ऑफ पटियाला, राजा ऑफ बनारस एंड सर दिनकर राव. इनको याद कैसे करेंगे? पटियाला पेग, बनारसी पान, ये आप यहां पर देख सकते हैं, और फिर दिन और रात गाना गाओ दिनकर राव. ठीक है जी. क्या है? राजा ऑफ पटियाला, राजा ऑफ बनारस, बनारसी पान, एंड देन आप दिन रात गाना गाओ यानी कि दिनकर राव. और ये कहां से हैं? ग्वालियर से. गाना दिनकर राव, गाना ग्वालियर. ठीक है जी. तो ये तीनों यहां पे नॉन ऑफिशियल मेंबर्स बनते हैं यहां पर आके. ठीक है जी. तो ऐसे तो फिर क्या होता है? सो वी कीप ऑन टॉकिंग अबाउट निमोनिक्स लाइक दीज एज एंड व्हेन एनीवन कम्स, एंड इफ यू कम अप विद एनी आइडियाज ऑफ निमोनिक्स यू कैन ऑलवेज शेयर इन द कमेंट सेक्शन. आई विल शेयर इट विद ऑल द पीपल इन द इनकमिंग वीडियोज. फिर क्या होता है? लेकिन इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग टू नोट इज दैट 18 ये नहीं कि बहुत सारे इंडियंस वहां पर पहुंच गए. नॉट मेनी इंडियंस वर एबल टू रीच इन द लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल. हाउ मेनी इंडियंस रीच? 1861 when this Indian Council Act was there, and then in 1892 when another Council Act was there. In these almost 31 years, only 45 Indians were chosen out of these three I've already named. So rulers of who, as I said, zamindar, merchant, all these people only could go there, right? So few Indian independent intellectuals were also chosen. Who were these people? Like Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. This is a picture of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. This is Christo Das Pal and Mandlik and Ras Bihari Ghosh. These are very easy names to remember. Please remember as many names as you can. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, Christo Das Pal, Mandlik, Ras Bihari Ghosh. Ghosh is the same person who will head the Surat split of Congress in 1907. 1907 में क्या होता है? कांग्रेस दो हिस्सों में टूट जाती है. ठीक है जी. और क्यों टूटती है, कैसे टूटती है, और फिर फाइनली कैसे जुड़ते हैं दोबारा जाके, क्या जुड़ते भी हैं, वो सारा कुछ हम बात करेंगे. ठीक है जी. तो दैट वाज सूरत स्प्लिट इन 1907. रास बिहारी घोष, he was the person, right? I'll ask you that time. So who are the people? Syed Ahmad Khan, Christo Das Pal. He's the Christo Das Pal over here. This person is Christo Das Pal, KP. This is Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, and then Mandlik was there, Ras Bihari Ghosh was there, right? Now with time council were established. धीरे धीरे कुछ प्रोविंशियल लेवल पर भी काउंसिल्स बन गई. फॉर एग्जांपल बॉम्बे, मद्रास, NW, नॉर्थ वेस्टर्न फ्रंटियर प्रोविंस और आगरा, इन सभी जगहों पर भी ये काउंसिल्स बननी शुरू हो गई. फिर इंडियन काउंसिल एक्ट के अंदर और क्या हुआ? You cannot call Indian this legislative imperial legislative council to be a parliament, because now to our utter shock it met only 25 days a year 80 till 1892. 31 years तक ये जब बनी 1862 से लेके 1891 तक, सॉरी 1861 से लेके, let's write it again clearly, 1861 से लेकर 1892 तक it met only 25 days a year. Can you call it a council of legislative council of any importance? Hardly any. and in any case they were not passing laws favoring us. Charles Wood, the Secretary of the State that time, wrote to Elgin, who was the Viceroy. Later he comes, we'll talk about him also. The only government suitable for such a state of thing as exists in India is a despotism controlled from home. ठीक है जी. और ऑब्वियसली डेस्पोटिज्म कंट्रोल फ्रॉम होम कब हो ही रहा है यहाँ पे. ठीक है. फिर अब डेस्पोटिज्म कंट्रोल फ्रॉम होम, यही एक फंडामेंटल फीचर बन जाएगा गवर्नमेंट का टिल 15 अगस्त 1947. कंक्लूसिव रिमार्क इंडियन काउंसिल एक्ट पर क्या है? टिल 1892 द डिमांड्स वर लिमिटेड टू एक्सपेंशन एंड रिफॉर्म्स ऑफ लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल. दे वांटेड मोर पार्टिसिपेशन इन देम बाय मोर नंबर ऑफ इलेक्टेड इंडियंस. एंड फिर कुछ डिस्कशन होती थी बजट वगैरह में, वो डील कर सकते थे. ठीक है जी. ये बात इंपॉर्टेंट है कि 1892 तक जो हमारी डिमांड थी वो कहती एक्सपेंशन कर दो, रिफॉर्म कर दो लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल में हम, लेकिन हमारी जो बड़ी डिमांड थी वो अभी तक यहां पर राइज नहीं हो पा रही हैं. ठीक है जी. आगे चलते हैं. तो कैनिंग के टाइम पे 1860 में कुछ लॉज भी पास हुए, आईपीसी पास हुआ, सीआरपीसी पास हुआ. अब इसको क्लेमेंसी कैनिंग भी कहते थे. अब एक्चुअली में बिकॉज ऑफ मास किलिंग्स एट इस टाइम, मास किलिंग्स तो बहुत हुई थी, लेकिन मजाक उड़ाते थे. और क्या हुआ? कैनिंग ट्राई टू प्रेजेंट अ पिक्चर दैट सब कुछ अच्छा है, एंड हेंस इसको ये टाइटल दे दिया गया था यहाँ पे. लेकिन एक्चुअली में तो मास किलिंग्स हुई इसके टाइम पे. ठीक है ना जी. कुछ ये भी हुआ कि 1858 के टाइम पर भी हमने सबको माफ कर दिया. पीपल वर फॉर गिवन जनरल क्लेमेंसी बाय 1858 प्रोक्लामेशन, बिफोर दिस क्वींस प्रोक्लामेशन. खैर, now he was responsible for setting up universities at Bombay, Calcutta and Madras. We have already talked about this in detail, and then he withdrew the doctrine of lapse officially. Now at his time another important thing that happened was the Indigo revolts, जिनको हम नील विद्रोह भी कहते हैं. नील विद्रोह बंगाली में, right? It happened in 1850 and 60 in Bengal and Bihar. These, if you see this map over here, these blue districts, the blue part, these are the areas where these are the areas of the revolt, right? Now, for example, 24 Parganas is over here, Nadia is here, right? Other districts are there. And then, now, what was it? It was a peasant movement and subsequent uprising of indigo farmer against the indigo planters. क्या होता था? ये peasant movement था, और फिर दोबारा indigo farmers ने जो किया, उनसे जबरदस्ती they were forced to grow indigo. Now, what was happening? Hindus and Muslims were both participated in this revolt. They were not allowed to grow food crops. ठीक है ना? There were no arms. It was a non-violent movement, and a commission was also appointed for this, right? Indigo planting in Bengal actually dates back to 1777. What happened in this revolt? Let's talk about it. Demand for blue dye in Europe had increased. ठीक है जी. Now more indigo plantation चाहिए होगी उसके लिए, तो लार्ज एरियाज ऑफ बंगाल के अंदर इट वाज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड. जो इंडिगो का प्लांटेशन था, फार्मर को कहते थे यही ग्रो करो, एंड एट अ वेरी लो प्राइस, एंड उनको लोन इशू किए जाते थे. वर इशूड लोन्स व्हिच वर कॉल्ड डैडॉन्स. ठीक है, डैडॉन्स. दे वर गिवन फॉर सेम एट वेरी हाई रेट. तो ये वाली बात भी इसके अंदर हो गई. डेट ट्रैप प्लस नो प्रो. अब डेट ट्रैप हो गया, उनको कहते चलो डेट ले लो, लोन ले लो, लोन के चक्कर में फंस जाते थे, कोई प्रॉफिट होता नहीं था. देयर वाज हार्डली एनी प्रॉफिट, एंड गवर्नमेंट रूल आल्सो फेवर्ड प्लांटर्स, सो एवरीवन वाज एट, ऑल दिस पेजेंट वर एट लॉस. व्हाट कुड दे डू? ऑल दे कुड डू वाज डू अ रिवोल्ट, एंड दैट लेड टू इंडिगो रिवोल्ट. And by enacting 1833, the planter were granted a free hand in oppression. Even the zamindar, moneylender, other influential persons sided with the planter. Everyone is supporting the planter. What would these people do who are doing into indigo revolt? Now, out of the severe oppression unleashed on them, farmers resorted to revolt. इतना उनको परेशान करते थे उनसे पैसा वापस लेने के लिए कि उनको फिर फाइनली एंड में revolt they had to do. They were really troubled violently. The peasants, that is by the Britishers or the zamindar, for collecting of their revenue or the indigo, whatever it is, and ultimately that operation led to revolt. But remember, this was a non-violent struggle. Who were the main leaders of this revolt? There were two main leaders. One was Digambar Biswas and other was Bishnu Biswas. ठीक है जी. Now this indigo revolt became part of culture in a big time, right? And Bengali middle class also supported them. Now Harish Chandra Mukhopadhyay, ठीक है जी, he describes about these indigo revolt, the condition of the people, in his newspaper, The Hindu Patriot, right? But the main thing that happened, the main book which really brought these indigo revolt into public, into masses, was Deenbandhu Mitra. This person over here, this is Deenbandhu Mitra, through his play which was called Neel Darpan. This is Neel Darpan, right? Neelo Darpana. Now the play created a huge controversy, right? The play was translated to English by Michael Madhusudan Dutt. He was a Bengali poet and a dramatist. He was also a very famous person, and we will talk about more about him in one of the lectures on culture at this time. Now, this play shook the people of England because people in England started thinking that what is happening in India, what is their government doing? There were a lot of opposition to British government in Britain because of this play called Neel Darpan, written by Deenbandhu Mitra, which was translated into English by Michael Madhusudan Dutt. And this person ji, this man over here is Shri Deenbandhu Mitra ji. Right? We move ahead. At this time, there was also white mutiny, about which I mentioned earlier. What happened at dissolution of European forces of East India Company, I said there was unrest, and thus there was white mutiny. There was one more white mutiny that was in 1766. What happened at that time? This is 1857, and that was this is 1858, right? And that was 1766, लगभग 100 साल पहले, about 100 years back. Reduced military alliances and British brigade गुस्सा खा गए. Lord Clive was suppressed their mutiny successful. Hindu Widow Remarriage Act was passed at this time. It legalized the marriage of Hindu widow in all. I'm sorry for this, again a typographical error. This is Hindu widow in all jurisdiction under EIC. So for the first time, legalization of a widow. Hindu widow could remarry. Who was the person who really fought for Hindu widows? That was Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. There was a huge problem of child widows at that time, especially in the upper classes. And condition देखिए इतनी बुरी थी, तो जो widows होती थी, they could not wear a blouse even, and under her sari she could not wear that. And जो साड़ी भी होती थी, it could only be of the coarse cloth, and it had to be preferably white. ठीक है, अब देखिए सालों तक कैसे ये इमेज बन के रहती है, राइट? इतना मतलब बुरा हाल किया गया उस टाइम पे. So that's it, and in the next lecture we'll be talking about more governor generals, and then quickly I'll move to the remaining part of the history of this time, and then will come the Congress. We'll be moving faster. I'll try to quickly give you lectures, more lectures on this. So that's all, and please subscribe to our channel if you like our video. और अगर आपको और भी चाहिए, so that आपकी मेल में आ जाएंगे, आपको पता लग जाएगा कोई भी अपडेशंस आते हैं. You can always subscribe to our channel, and if you like this video you can share it. इतना तो बनता है भाई. देखिए सब कुछ बैठे बिठाए एकदम मिल रहा है, और मैं कोई स्पून फीडिंग नहीं आपकी करना चाह रहा. प्लीज लिसन टू दीज लेक्चर्स अगेन एंड अगेन, एंड please try to, you don't have to make the notes really out of this if you want to, but if you talk about me, even I am going to revise all these lectures watching my own videos, and you can also do this. And because these videos have been made, kept in mind, keeping the interest of everyone. And now I started whatever the current affair notes that I am making, I have made, I will be making them all on my blog, Fantastic Fundas. You can follow that blog, Fantastic Fundas, and if you want you can actually subscribe to that blog by putting your email address over there, fantasticfundas.com, and that will give you a lot of current affairs. That will be very easy for you to remember things, right? So that is all, and thank you for watching.